Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Mr. J, and we are so excited you're joining us today.
Hello, May. I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a great session for our listeners.
It really is, because today we're tackling a huge problem. Have you ever watched a movie or heard a native speaker and thought, wait, are they even speaking English?
That is the number one complaint I hear. Students say they know the words on paper, but when they hear them at a normal speed, everything sounds like one long, blurry word.
Exactly. It's like a secret code. But today, we're going to help you break that code so you can finally understand fast English without feeling lost.
That's the goal. And if you want to keep improving your listening every week, make sure to subscribe to the J&May English Podcast. We're here to help you get comfortable with real conversations.
So, Mr. J, why does English sound so fast? Is it just that people are in a hurry?
Not exactly. Most learners fail here because they try to hear every single word clearly. But in English, we don't say every word with the same power. We have stressed words and unstressed words.
Stressed and unstressed? That sounds a bit like music.
It is. Think of it like a drum beat. We emphasize the important words, the nouns and verbs, and we squeeze the small words like to, for, and at into tiny spaces.
So the small words almost disappear?
They do. They change their sound. For example, the word to often becomes a very short t. Instead of saying, I want to go, a fast speaker says, I want to go.
Oh, I've heard that. Wanna. Is that why I can't find the words in my dictionary sometimes?
Precisely. We call this connected speech. It's when the end of one word slides into the start of the next one. It's a simple trick for you to remember. English is a language of flow, not a language of individual blocks.
That makes sense, but it's so frustrating when I know the word and, but I only hear a tiny N sound.
I know. It's like rock and roll becoming rock and roll. If you are waiting to hear the full and, you will get confused and stop listening to the rest of the sentence.
That's exactly what happens to me. I get stuck on one word I didn't hear clearly, and then I miss the next 5 sentences.
That is a very common trap. You have to learn to let go of the small sounds and focus on the big words that carry the meaning. This part is vital. Your brain needs to listen for the rhythm, not the spelling.
So if I stop trying to be a perfectionist about every the and of, I might actually understand the main point?
Yes. Think of it like looking at a painting. If you put your nose right against the canvas, you only see dots. You have to step back to see the whole picture.
I love that image. But how do we actually practice this? It feels like my ears aren't fast enough yet.
We start by training your ears to recognize those squeezed sounds. Instead of what do you, many people say what'ya. It sounds like one word, right?
What'ya? It sounds like a completely different language.
It does, but once you know what'ya is just what do you, your brain stops panicking when it hears it. You start to recognize the pattern.
So it's about pattern recognition, not just knowing more vocabulary.
Exactly. You already know the words, you just don't recognize their fast version. It really is a mental shift. Most people think they need to study more grammar books to understand fast English, but they actually just need to listen to how words marry each other.
Marry each other? That's a romantic way to put it. Do you mean they just stick together?
Exactly. In English, when one word ends with a consonant sound and the next begins with a vowel, they join together. For example, an apple sounds like an apple.
Oh, I see. So turn off becomes turn off. It sounds like a single strange word if you aren't expecting it.
Spot on, May. If you are listening for turn and off as two separate sounds, you'll feel like the speaker is going too fast. But if you expect turn off, it feels normal. This is a vital secret. Native speakers aren't actually speaking faster, they're just taking shortcuts.
I feel like those shortcuts are everywhere. I notice that when people say, could you, it sounds like, could ya? Why do we do that?
It's all about efficiency. Our mouths are lazy. Moving from a D sound to a Y sound takes effort, so we blend them into a J sound. It's easier to say could ya than could you.
Lazy mouths. That makes me feel better. So if I start using these shortcuts when I speak, will it help me understand them better when I hear them?
Absolutely. This is the mirror rule. If you can produce the sound, your brain will recognize it instantly when someone else says it. If you always say, I am going to, you will always struggle to hear I'm gonna.
That's a simple trick for you guys listening at home. Try saying the shortcuts out loud. But Mr. J, what about when people talk really softly or mumble?
That's where context comes in. Most learners fail here because they try to translate every word into their native language in their head. By the time they translate the first 3 words, the speaker is already at the end of the paragraph.
Guilty. I do that all the time. I'm like a slow computer trying to download a huge file.
We need to upgrade your processor then. Instead of translating, try to catch keyword anchors. If you hear coffee, late, and boss, you don't need to hear every the, was, or my to know the person is talking about being late for work because of a coffee run.
So I should look for the anchors to keep me from drowning in the fast speech.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to guess. Even native speakers mishear each other. We use context to fill in the gaps. If I'm at a restaurant and the waiter says something fast that sounds like, would you like some water? I know he's asking if I want water because of where we are.
Context is like a safety net. It catches you when the words move too fast. But sometimes I feel shy to ask people to slow down. Is that okay to do?
It's more than okay. But instead of saying what, which can sound a bit rude, you can say, could you say that again a bit slower? Or, I didn't quite catch that.
I didn't quite catch that. I like that phrase. It sounds very natural. It's like the words were a ball and I just missed them.
That's a great way to think of it. Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just your job to understand, it's the speaker's job to be understood.
That makes me feel much more confident. I used to think it was just me being bad at English.
Not at all. Even I have trouble understanding certain accents or very fast slang if I'm not familiar with them. The key is to stay relaxed. When you panic, your brain closes up and you hear even less.
So relax, look for the anchors, and remember that mouths are lazy. I can do that.
That is the perfect attitude to have. Confidence is half the battle when it comes to listening. If you believe you can understand, your brain stays open to the sounds.
I've noticed that when I'm relaxed, I actually hear more. But when I'm nervous, like in a meeting or a job interview, my brain just freezes. Everything sounds like blah, blah, blah.
We call that the affective filter. When your stress is high, it acts like a wall. This part is vital. You need to practice in low-stress environments first. Listen to podcasts like ours, or watch cartoons. Cartoons are great because the actors speak very clearly, even when they are fast.
Cartoons? That sounds fun. I don't feel stressed watching a movie for kids. It's a great way to build up to the hard stuff.
Exactly. And here's another simple trick for you. Use the shadowing technique. This is where you listen to a short sentence and try to repeat it immediately after the speaker, mimicking their speed and their lazy sounds.
So if the character says, I'm heading out, I should say, I'm heading out, exactly like them, joining the words together?
Yes. Try to copy the melody of the sentence. Don't worry about the individual words, just copy the sound. This trains your ears to expect those connections.
I'm gonna try that today. It's like being an actor. What are you doing?
Perfect. You're already sounding more natural. Most learners fail here because they think they have to be serious all the time. But language is about playing with sounds.
We've covered so much today. We talked about stressed and unstressed words, connected speech like wanna, the mirror rule, and using context anchors.
We did. It's a lot to take in, but if you just focus on one thing at a time, like listening for those squeezed words, you will notice a huge difference in a few weeks.
I feel so much better about my listening skills now. It's not a mystery anymore. It's just a set of patterns.
That's the spirit. To all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. What is the hardest phrase for you to understand when people speak fast? Leave us a comment and let's talk about it.
Yes, please. Tell us. We love reading your stories. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, Mr. J.
It was my pleasure, May. Keep practicing, everyone, and don't forget to have fun with it.
See you in the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye.